everyone, depending on where you are joining us from. I see a lot of different names from different countries that I can't even pronounce, which is already a good signal that we're having a really global webinar. It's really a pleasure to see so many of you here today, and thank you for taking the time to join us in this important conversation. I am Gabriela Romero, and I'm joining you today from Y Plus Global. We are the global network of young people living with HIV, and I've been working with the network for the last 6, 7 years um, around projects and management and supporting young people all around the world. So yeah, today's webinar is all about strengthening youth engagement in Global Fund Grant Cycle number 8. But before I move forward and I introduce who is going to be in the webinar and I tell you a little bit more, I want to just let you know that there are translations in Russian, and they're also, sorry, in Ukrainian, and there are translations also in French. Yes. So if you want to get the translations, please, you can click down on the three dots. You will see the option of more. And over there, you will see the option of selecting the language that you want to listen to this webinar in. Let us know if you have any questions. I'm gonna let our translators to repeat that again in Ukrainian and in French. Amazing. All right. So again, if you want interpretation, you can click on the three dots, or you can click around the world symbol down in the menu and choose English or French. Amazing. Okay. So I think we're ready to start. So yes. Okay. So yeah, today's webinar is all about strengthening youth engagement into the Global Fund Grant Cycle 8. And more importantly, is about making sure that youth voices are not only heard, but that we're actually having meaningful engagement into decision-making processes. We all know that young people are not just beneficiaries, but that these programs and we are leaders and change makers. And we still also know that there are many barriers when it comes to accessing spaces, especially like sometimes the global fund and influencing how resources are allocated. So today we're very, very excited from the Youth to Youth Consortium. We're going to have a very excited discussion within Youth Lead, Y Plus Global, and YODA. Here are my colleagues, Agatha and Roxana. We have Ligi, who has been supporting us on the development of a guidance that we are launching today, and we really hope that it can be helpful for you. And we will be having two very, very, very yeah, exciting discussions with Bella from Indonesia and with Laura from Cameroon on their experiences within the Global Fund and this new cycle. So everyone is bringing a unique perspective. We have a very global webinar. So we're going to be talking about regional advocacy, global coordination, and community-led expertise. And we are the Youth to Youth Consortium, the only youth-led consortium within the Global Fund. And we work with different networks in Ukraine, in Cameroon, and in Mongolia. So yeah. I am ready to start. So, as I told you, we're going to be today officially launching the Grant Cycle 8 Youth Engagement Guideline. It was a tool developed by the consortium to support the youth-led organizations and partners in understanding and navigating the global fund processes. So, we want this guideline not only to be a document, but a practical resource for you to use. Leggy is going to tell you more and walk you through it so that you understand, because there is a lot of information. So during these sessions, we're going to have an overview of the guidance, some real examples from youth leaders, the amazing panel discussions, and some reflections on what meaningful engagement actually looks like in practice. Before we get started, just a quick note on logistics. You please, if you are not having any questions or any intervention, make sure you mute your microphone. And yeah, I'm ready to then officially open the session and invite our first presenter, which is Legi, who will walk us through the guideline and bring us into the heart of today's discussion. So Legi, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gabriela. And hi everyone. Agatha, would you mind to share my slides so I can start? Right, thank you.
Make sure, Leggy, you slow down when we're speaking, because I know there are translations happening and sometimes we forget. So for the speakers, make sure you slow down so the translators have enough time to do the
Okay.
translations.
Okay, noted, noted. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So thank you for joining today. My name is Leki, and I'm the author of the GC8 Youth Engagement Guideline. And I'm going to introduce it that's been developed significantly for youth-led organizations like yours, working in Asia Pacific, Africa, and Eastern Europe who want to meaningfully engage in Global Fund Grant Cycle 8, which covers 2026 to 2028. Is my speed okay? Do you want me to slow down a bit more? Okay, great, great. Okay. So, well, this guideline is called GC8 Youth Engagement Guideline, and what you're going to see today is a practical introduction to what's inside it and why it matters, and how you can use it in your advocacy work or in your meaningful engagement. So today we have about only 15 minutes together, so let's get started into it right now. Next slide, thank you. Um, Right. So before we look at into the guideline itself, I want to quickly set a scene. Why does it even matter? Like why this guideline needs to be developed and needs to be distributed. So in Asia Pacific alone, 300,000 new HIV infections are recorded every year, and young people aged between 15 to 24 account for roughly one quarter of those. And in Africa, adolescents, girls, and young women bear a disproportionate share of the burden. And in Eastern Europe, HIV is concentrated among young key populations, which is young people who use drugs, young men who have sex with men, and young transgender, and who face discrimination and stigma that block their access to services. At the same time, the Global Fund has saved 65 million lives since 2002, and that is what is possible when communities are funded and engaged meaningfully. The 87% figure you see here comes from the research on NGO financing in Mongolia. Unfortunately, I could only find about Mongolia. And it shows how dangerously dependent many organizations are on external donors, and yet 1,200 young people across 65 countries came together in 2025 under the I Am the Impact campaign to fight for GC8 replenishment. So that is a momentum we trust we can build on. That was just the background of what's behind of the Global Fund, what's going on with this epidemic. Next slide, please. So this guideline covers three distinct regions because of the challenge, and while all series are different in each context, I'm going to talk about Asia Pacific, Africa, and Eastern Europe. So in Asia Pacific, raising HIV epidemics among youth in countries like Indonesia, Myanmar, and the Philippines demand urgent community responses. And in Africa, the burden of HIV, TB, and malaria is highest globally, with adolescents, girls, and young women, especially at risk due to gender inequality and limited youth-friendly services. And in Eastern Europe, political constraint, criminalization, and stigma make it extremely difficult for young key populations to access essential care. Despite this different context, the mission is remaining the same. Ensure that young people are not just target of health programs, but active co-designers and leaders of those programs. Next slide, please. So now we're jumping into the guideline. What exactly is this guideline and what will you find inside it? So it is a practical roadmap, and its purpose is to equip youth organizations with the tools, knowledge, and strategies to participate meaningfully in every stage of Grant Cycle 8, starting from preparation, which should have started in 2025. Unfortunately, we're a little left behind, but that's okay. We still have enough time if we work very smart and efficient, and all the way through implementation of 2028. And it is designed for youth-led and youth-serving organizations across all three regions who interact with Global Fund processes, whether you are already in the on the CCM or just starting to engage, or you would like to. Okay, so inside you'll find background and rationale, and also 7 key entry points across the grant cycle. And also it has a step-by-step action plan, tools, and also annexes including consultation agendas, stakeholder metrics, and a directory of regional engagement platforms. If you use those annexes very smartly, which already like made it easy for you to use it and ready to use it. Okay, so I would highly recommend to use the guideline, including the annexes. Next slide, please. Right, so now let's look at how Global Grand Cycle 8 actually works and where youth organization can plug in. So the cycle moves through 4 phases. First will be preparation. This is happening actually right now, starting from 2025 and 2026, depending on which window you are. And this is when youth coalitions need to form, map the stakeholders, connect with CCMs, and it can be also like technical working group and stuff, and gather some evidence. Okay. And the second stage is a funding request development. So this is the most intensive phase where countries actually write their proposals. This is in 2026, I believe. So some of the countries are going through it right now. For example, Mongolia is going to submit their proposal on 8th of June, which is window one. And it is where youth engagement can make the biggest difference if you are at the table. So for your information, on GC8, Global Fund announced that there will be three windows. The first window submission deadline is 8th of June, and for window 2 is due to 27th of July, and the window 3 is by 5th of October. So depending on which window that your country is submitting proposal, so those phases are needed to be going through. Okay. So the third phase is a grant making. The Global Fund reviews and approves the request, and grants are signed. So youth organizations should be pushing to be named as sub-recipient at this stage. If we cannot, that's also fine. It's not very easy phase anyway, so there are still some rooms for sub-recipients. If that's not possible, then we can also do like watchdog roles and stuff. So that's the grant making, and the fourth is implementation and monitoring. So starting from 2026 to 2028, this is where youth-led community monitoring becomes essential to hold programs accountable. Okay. So, what I would like to highlight here is youth-led organizations must engage at every phases, not just implementation, or not just in the funding request development with support of TA or with support of Youth Lead or Y Plus or YODA. Okay, maybe you should engage in all phases if that's possible. Try to engage in everything. And too often young people are brought at the end. The guideline is all about to change it and to make you stronger and strengthen your capacity on that. Next, please. Right. Okay, so the heart of the main thing, the heart of this guideline is the seven-step action plan for the funding request development phase, because that is where your voices can shape the actual content of grants. So, which I'm repeating myself, the this phase is about to start now. Some of the countries has already started, some of them are about to start. So for now, we really have to be careful and start planning as soon as possible, okay? So the funding request development, we included seven steps. Step one is to gather information, know the GC8 rules, your country disease strategies, and what worked or what didn't in GC7, and come to the table as a credible partner. And step two is to build your engagement and communication plan. This is very important. So MAP with youth organization needs to be involved and assign clear roles, who's doing what and when, and agree on top of your 3 to 5 main priorities asked before you enter any official process or any meetings. So that will be very helpful and save a lot of time. And step three is to consult with youth, organize a dedicated consultation. It can be a workshop, focus group discussion, or an even like small online survey would be very helpful. So there are so many good practices in countries hosting youth country dialogues, which worked very great so far. And the key is to document the output and formally submit them into the proposal development team, or sometimes it's called technical working group or funding request development committee. So depending on the country context, the subgroup or committee can be called different. And step four is to join the drafting committee, which I just mentioned. It can be named differently in every country. Push to have a seat at the proposal writing table and advocate for youth-focused activities, dedicated budget lines, and explicit recognition of youth organization as an implementation partner. And step five is to review and validate the final funding request. And if it reflects youth priorities, then endorse it. And if it doesn't, say so with evidence and offer some other solutions together. I mean, I feel like sometimes just by yourself or within one organization, it's kind of complicated and hard. So in that matter, you would have to be very prepared and got enough information and knowledge. And step six is to monitor and advocate during implementation, lead community-led monitoring, use digital tools, and keep advocating if commitments on the paper are not being delivered on the ground or not. Okay. And the last step, step seven, which is often being forgotten, is to measure the impact of your engagement itself. Was it meaningful or it was not? Did it change anything or they didn't give any chance to do it? So this evidence will make your future cycles even stronger. Yeah. Next, please. Thank you. So now practically speaking, where do you plug in? Where there are several key platforms. So the most important thing is a country coordinating mechanism, or as we know it called CCM, and this is the official country level body that oversees grant cycle funding requests and grant management. Every youth organization needs to know who is in their country CCM and either seek representation or observer status or minimum a formal link to civil society members on the CCM. Even like a short phone call or a short meeting would be very helpful on that. And then there are some regional learning support platforms. In Asia Pacific, the CESI regional platform is implemented through Seven Alliance. In Africa, I called INASO. INASO served in Anglophone countries. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And RAIM serves in a Francophone Africa, right? And in Eastern Europe and Central Asia, it's EHRA. It's a Eurasian Harm Reduction Association. So those are the key hubs. And those are the main organizations that are responsible to provide Global Fund related information and provide support if needed. And finally, the Community Engagement Strategic Initiative, or CESI, provides a technical assistance and sometimes funding for youth consultations, advocacy, or capacity building. I strongly encourage every organization in this room to connect with the relevant hub in your region as soon as possible if you have planned for meaningful engagement in your mind or need like a little support. Um, Right. Okay. So I guess I'm getting very close. One of the exciting opportunities in Grand Cycle 8 compared to the previous cycles is expanded use of digital tools for youth engagement. The guideline covers six key tools categories: social media for advocacy and campaign amplification, WhatsApp and Signal for collation coordination, online surveys and virtual forums to reach youth who cannot attend in person due to, I don't know, stigma or geographical issues. And also mobile CLM apps like One Impact by Stop TB partnership for anonymous community reporting, and also video conferencing for remote consultations, and structured data collection platforms like Kobo Toolbox for systematic monitoring. So these tools can dramatically expand who gets to have a voice in GC8, but they also require attention to digital literacy and data privacy, so especially for marginalized youth populations. Next, please. Thank you. Right, so now it's sustainability and transition. One issue that I want to make sure we don't overlook is sustainability. Global Fund grant ends, and what happens to youth-led programs when they do. It's been such a headache for so long for so many countries. I believe in my next sessions, our panelists would probably discuss about it. So this guideline identifies five priorities here. First is engage in national transition readiness assessment from day one. Don't wait until the grant is ending and to think about it. And second is advocate for domestic resource mobilization. Push government to put national budget funding behind youth programs. I really know that's not easy. It's very complex process, but as an exp in my experience, I know some countries has been doing it very successfully, so at least try it. And the third is integrate proven interventions like peer education and community-led monitoring into public health systems so they can survive without donor funding. And fourth is invest in capacity strengthening. Organizations need training, mentorship, and management support to sustain themselves, right? And lastly is document your success stories or your failure stories, whatever it's possible. Just document everything, and cost effectiveness data now, so you have the evidence to attract future fundings beyond Global Fund or beyond anything available right now. So and if you have any data, if you have any case study, or if you have any stories, then document everything. That's the pure advice from my side. And youth voices are very critical in these discussions to ensure that investments in young people's health are protected and that governments remain accountable beyond the life of Global Fund support. Next, please. Right, so I think this would be my last slide. Let me close it with a call to action. So, in 2025, over 1,200 young people in 65 countries came together under the banner of "I am the impact" to advocate for GC8 replenishment. Right, that energy, that organizing power, it needs to be channeled into country level actions as well. So this guideline gives you the roadmap, the step-to-step guideline, okay? Your role is four things. A, organize it, form or strengthen your national youth GC8 coalition right now. And second is engage, connect with your CCM and your regional platforms. And third one would be consult, run structured consultations with young people and document the priorities. Um, I am so sorry. Yeah. And last one is advocate, okay? Push to be included in a drafting committee. Ask for it. Have a call. Request it. Send email, send letters, whatever is possible. Just advocate for it and do whatever within your capacity. And oversight bodies and implementation teams. The full guideline, the tools and the annexes are available from next week. Please use them. And the regional platforms such as Seven Alliance and Nassau, RAIM, and EHRA are there to support you. And and thank you so much for your attention. And I wish you the biggest good luck for your GC8 meaningful engagement. I think I just over a little bit, but thank you so much. Back to you, Gabriela.
No worries, Lily. Thank you so much. This is so helpful. Like I keep learning and learning every day from the Global Fund. Like I was just like taking note. There's so much valuable information. So just to recap, what Legi already shared with us, we have pretty much a step to step guidance on how we can influence and understand better GC8. We have only the role of organizing us sit down, get to know. We hear about the deadlines, we hear about strategies that we can use to influence, we hear about the possible partnerships, and of course, the work that we can do with the CCM members, but also other alternative ways of influencing yeah, the GC8. So I really hope that, as you know, this webinar is being currently recorded. So we're gonna put it online so you can rewatch it. We're gonna be sharing also Ligi's presentation. And of course, in the guidance, you will find everything. So this is the time where we have an expert pretty much on how this works. And we want to do some Q&A session. So if you have any questions, if you need advice from Ligi, if you didn't understand what she was saying, this is the safe space to talk about it. And really, uh, don't be shy. Bring the questions that you have, the ideas, before we jump into the second part of the webinar, where we will be hearing real life experiences from our panelists. And yeah, so before I move to the next session and I give the word to my colleague, I want to know if there are any questions. Um,
So thank you, Gabi. I'm very comfortable to take questions now because I may not be able to join for the Q&A sessions. If you guys have any questions, maybe can put in a chat box or maybe just unmute yourself and speak.
yeah. Yeah, I thought like it's because the information is fresh. If there are any questions regarding or related to the guidance. So I'm gonna count to 5, and if not, then we can move to the second part. But again, take advantage of Ligi. She knows so much. She's here. So 1, 2, 3. Mm. Oh, you have some fans here, Lady Luna. 4 and 5. So I'm assuming there are no questions. I mean, you can always reach out to us if you need support, help, guidance. Thank you, Leggy, for that. It was extremely helpful. I might be reaching out to you, calling you for more advice on the Global Fund. Thank you. And now we're gonna move to the next part of the webinar. I'm gonna give which is our panel discussions so that we can really see how this looks in practice. And I'm gonna give the word to Roxana.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Roxana Karczewska, and I'm a part of Youth Organization for Drug Action in Europe, part of Y2Y Consortium. And today I have a pleasure of moderating the panel of how youth leaders are engaged in GC8 process. We will have a chance to hear live examples, real life stories from two of our speakers, Laura Lonsi-Tsaku and Bella Aubry. I will briefly introduce our speakers. Laura is a Cameroonian youth activist in HIV advocacy. She CEO-founded Recash Plus and leads advocacy, resource mobilization, and communications and Recash Plus, focusing on youth leadership and gender equality. Bella Aubry is an Indonesian transgender youth and human rights advocate. She chairs the Global Fund Youth Council and coordinates Inti Munda Indonesia, focusing on youth-led movements and meaningful youth inclusion in decision-making. Thank you. And now let's proceed to the questions. My first question is, how is the current GC8 process in your country? And the question is for Bella.
Yes, thank you for the question. That's really tough. Well, the answer is like the processes currently is very tough, especially for Indonesia. And for the context, our country is submitting in the first window, which on June. And the time that we have is very tight. And as well as this is also difficult for us as community to engage in those processes because yeah, we tried to prepare in 2025 last year, but still all the document from the Global Fund, the modular framework, and the form is not available until last month. No, I think 2 weeks ago. So we need to really keep up with those documents as well to really understand like how is the form, how the modular framework looks like, so we could navigate and do our strategy when it comes to engage in this processes, especially when it comes to like the sustainability and integration that happening in like all the intervention of community and human rights gender are now in RSSH modular, so it's not under the degrees. And it's kind of difficult because like there is another technical working group under the RSSH, which we are not involved. So we really need to also make some ally. But this has happened not in last year, but just currently. So I really hope that if the young people here, audience here, are if their country are submitting in the second window or third window, you really need to have more time to like mapping all the stakeholder and also allies in the CCM in the technical working group to work on this engagement and priorities, especially for the youth, and as well as when I see in Indonesia, it's kind of difficult because like window one is really tight time and community are really less engaged. And I also complaining to them why we are choosing the window one because the choosing of this timeline is based on the country. So and just today we have also the country team from the Global Fund visit in Indonesia, and we talked about a lot of things, and we already have a country dialogue, and now in it's the funding request development, the proposal, and the discussion would be we still so many things to do, especially in discussion of the proposal. So we are not really sure that if Indonesia could, like made it to the first window. Otherwise, we will have the second window. So yeah, but that's the lesson learned as a country as well. If we are not seeing that as a feasible timeline, we should not go over that, especially with like community engagement, make it more or less engagefully. And yeah, that's a problem. But so far it's exhausting, just for the young people. But be prepared because yeah, the energy, the sustainability, integration things will really take your energy. Yep.
Thank you, Bella, for this very informative insight from Indonesia. And now the very same question for Laura. How is the current GC8 process in your country?
Okay, thank you for giving me the word. I will speak in French because I'm a Cameroonian. Pour ce qui est du processus du Grand Cycle 8 au Cameroun, déjà la semaine passée, nous avons assisté à l'atelier de planification qui consistait à réfléchir sur les étapes du dialogue pays. Malheureusement, deux jeunes
Laura,
éléments.
Laura,
Yes,
sorry to
yes.
cut you off. I think for this you can choose to speak in French, and then Iris, the French interpreter, could speak in English channel, so that everyone could hear you in English.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, I will
yes.
speak in French.
Yes, you can speak in French. You can speak in French. You just have to choose to move to speak in French station. You can select the option in more, and then the globe icon one, and then you can choose to speak in French channel, and then the French interpreter will speak in English channel to translate you to everyone.
Mhm. So Iris, if you
Okay.
could
Thank
move to the English channel. Sorry, Laura. It's like because we're having French translations, live interpretation anyway. But if you're more comfortable speaking in French, it's okay. Just
Yes, I've moved into French.
we hear
Okay.
you in the English one still.
Yes. Oh,
You
I
okay.
don't know
So
why.
okay. So
Then I will
sorry,
just try to
everyone.
speak in English then.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay,
Can
Laura.
you?
You can
just one.
you can
I've
speak
moved.
in French.
Yes.
But everyone else who prefers to speak in English could sorry, to listen in English, you could choose the interpretation channel in English station. Sorry, I mixed it up. You can all select the English channel to be able to hear Laura being interpreted to English, and then Laura can continue speaks in French. So that's what you can do.
Okay, thank you. Merci.
Yes.
Hope it's okay now. Ok, ce que je disais, c'est que le dialogue au niveau du Cameroun, pour ce qui est de la feuille de route de 2027-2029, le GC8, les activités ont commencé la semaine surpassée avec l'atelier de planification qui consistait à réfléchir sur les étapes du dialogue pays, quelles sont les parties qui seront impliquées. Mais malheureusement, les jeunes sont toujours en quantité insuffisante parce que nous avions le représentant du CCM, M. Luis Kabeyene, et moi-même uniquement contre les autres constituants qui étaient peut-être au nombre de 10. Et donc, nous avons souligné ce point et le CCM nous a convaincus de réajuster pour les prochaines séances. Et la semaine dernière, nous avons également participé au lancement du dialogue pays, où certains de nos jeunes ont également participé. Mais le rapport qui revient, c'est la difficulté à pouvoir réellement s'imposer, s'exprimer et faire entendre la voix. D'aucuns se sont appuyés sur les GTR pour pouvoir essayer d'argumenter le draft de la note conceptuelle qui était présentée. Et c'est assez difficile pour les jeunes réellement de pouvoir réellement donner leur avis sur ce qui est du dialogue pays actuellement. Cette semaine également, nous avons été invités le jour même de l'atelier en tant que jeune pour la validation des outils, pour la collecte des données, ce qui relève encore un autre problème parce que cela démontre que nous n'avons pas été invités en amont et que c'est à la dernière minute que ils ont également pensé aux jeunes et où nous avons été invités en tant que résidents, sachant bien que les résidents sont des personnes qui n'arrivent pas réellement à influencer les décisions. Alors, nous nous sommes dépêchés, néanmoins, nous avons participé à l'atelier de validation. Et actuellement, où je vous parle, les jeunes, une personne a été invitée en tant que facilitateur, vu la tension sur le plan financier, où le Fonds mondial a décidé de ne pas financer le dialogue pays au niveau du Cameroun. Et donc, cela relève un problème assez difficile parce que le pays se doit de se retourner vers des partenaires pour pouvoir influencer le processus. Donc, globalement, la participation des jeunes demeure encore moyenne au Cameroun pour ce qui est de la participation au dialogue pays. Et donc, nous, les jeunes leaders, nous faisons de notre mieux pour veiller à ce que les jeunes puissent participer au maximum. En termes de stratégie, nous nous sommes retournés vers d'autres partenaires pour avoir les financements de manière sollicité par l'ICN que nous puissions ajouter également d'autres jeux. On a, comme aujourd'hui, on a invité un seul jeune pour la formation des facilitateurs du dialogue. Nous avons managé de notre mieux pour ajouter deux autres jeunes de manière à ce que trois jeunes soient formés, sachant que les deux autres jeunes sont sous notre charge. Et c'est de cette manière que nous faisons pour être sûrs de pouvoir influencer les décisions de manière à ce que les besoins des jeunes soient pris en compte dans la rédaction de la note conceptuelle. Merci. Okay.
Thank you very much, Laura, for this insight of how the situation is in Cameroon. You've had some obstacles to overcome. There is still some issues, but as far as I can see, you're overcoming it bravely. Now we can proceed to the second question. What is your involvement in the process, and how far has the youth engagement in the grant development process has come in your country? And this is question for Bella.
Yes, thank you. So when it comes to engagement, I would say first from the preparation, I would break down to the what Leiji also presents. So from the preparation, there is gather evidence. So we collect evidence for the GC8, which that happened last year in 2025, and yeah, I engage with the Ministry of Health and also in the country team to have to join the national expert for the joint HIV review. So before we are having the funding request and proposal development, we need to review the previous cycle, like how the implementation, what we need to improve in the next GC grant cycle, and etc. So we are collecting all the evidence. We are collecting data from the previous grant cycle in those space. So I engaged in those space in the last year until in early 2026, which is really I'm really glad that the Ministry of Health inviting me as a national expert from the young key population representative to review all the programs, so I could put more recommendations specifically for the youth, and it could be bring as a basis for the country proposal. And after that, as well as navigating the document of the modular framework, and also as a part of the youth council, we try to advocate for all those documents to be released, because like there is like a time when we're still waiting for this modular framework, and all those documents is kind of difficult and a really long time. And we try to push that as well. And also in the funding request, which that happened currently, we do some community consultation. So we got a support from the Seven Alliance, which to like prepare all this engagement from community and also from the youth. We do a community consultation. We gather lots of inputs from the youth community, And also in the country dialogue, we're also leading the discussion and we engage more people. Which the problem is the country dialogue it only happened for 5 hours, so it's really short, not even a day, because of like we have another meeting to catch. So I don't think that this country dialogue is effective in the GC8 compared to previous cycle. We feel like we are in a rush in the GC8 because of we want to submit in the first window, and also we joined the writing team. So I personally joined the writing team and the lead for preferential modular, which that's really great. So I could intervene how we could write the preferential aspect in the proposal. And yeah, it's really tough, but also I'm so proud of it. And also one thing that I think this is a good strategy is to develop this proposal. There will be many of consultants helping writing. So we really need to have a coordination and like communication with those consultants. So we really need a better understanding how to navigate all this proposal writing. And that's what I do, especially for the RSSH, because this is the critical as a youth that we need to take a look, because like all the intervention from community like CLM, social contracting, etc., is now not under the disease. So we need to really take a look for those because it might be being manipulated or something that got skipped. So we really need to see that and try to map who are responsible for those modular and who are writing that and make some communication with that. And also, after this, we plan to engage in the grant making because in the GC7, we are having a problem to join the grant making because it's like a PR thing. It is a very, very intimate discussion because we talked about budget. And at the end, we couldn't navigate how the implementation. So in GC8, we plan to pushly join to utilize the grant making, how this activity is initiated, and also the budget. And yeah, I think the important thing in GC8, we also need to make sure we involve in all processes, not only in the first stage, which funding request, because that's the really difficult one. Sometimes we have this energy at the first, but then we lost the energy at the at the all processes. So yeah, I hope we got those energy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm wishing you this energy, and you should be really proud of your work. Keep up the good job. Thank you once again. And now the same question for Laura. I will repeat it. What is your involvement in the process, and how far has the youth engagement in the grant development process has come in your country? Laura, please. Laura, are you with us? Yes. Okay. One moment. Agatha, should we proceed or should we?
I think, Laura, if you still have the issue with the mic, you can answer your question via chat, so that we could proceed because we only have 8 minutes left for the webinar. We are very sorry for the technical problems, everyone. Over to you, Roxana.
Thank you very much, Agatha, and thank you to both of our participants for this great insight of how the GC8 process is going. If you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask them, or to place them in the chat. I will ask the questions from the chat to our today's speakers. Don't be shy, guys. I'm sure that there are some questions.
Roxana, Louis has their hands up.
Oh, yes. Yes, please go on, Louise, or did you?
Oui, merci pour la parole donnée. Je vais parler en français. Je suis Luis Kabene du Cameroun. J'apprécie grandement ce webinaire qui a été organisé afin de renforcer la participation des jeunes dans le processus du Fonds mondial. Je voudrais donner un petit conseil à mes frères et sœurs jeunes leaders. C'est de toujours avoir des contacts utiles, toujours converser avec la partie étatique. Parce que moi, ici au Cameroun, la plupart des personnes qui m'ont aidé à avoir un certain nombre d'informations, c'est soit parce que j'avais une bonne entente avec la partie gouvernementale et aussi j'avais une très bonne entente avec les jeunes leaders du Cameroun. Parce que afin de permettre à ce qu'on puisse arriver à ce niveau ici au Cameroun, j'ai regroupé plusieurs jeunes leaders et on a formé un consortium. C'est grâce à ce consortium qu'on élabore des stratégies, qu'on définit les priorités et qu'on dit ce qu'il faut faire et ce qu'il ne faut pas faire. C'est ce que je pouvais dire. Laura a eu à tout dire concernant la situation au Cameroun et j'espère que nous allons y arriver et j'y crois fermement. Merci.
Thank you very much for this advice. Are there any other questions, comments?
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Yes, please.
Greetings from Cameroon, the Northwest region to be precise. I am Kinley Brandy, and I just wanted to step in and cue in from where Luis left off. It's really a great honor to be on a platform filled with young people who are doing their best to see that interventions around the youth health are really moving forward in every country, in every area, in every community. So Luis talked about a consortium. I am literally just hearing about a consortium, and as a young leader who is very passionate about impacting her community and also connecting with other young leaders to see that efficient work is done around our health rise, I would like to connect with him. Je ne sais pas si vous m'attendez, Luis. J'aimerais être connecté avec vous pour qu'on puisse voir ce qu'on peut faire, like young people, especially for me who is in the hit region. I'm just sharing about this, and I want the other young persons here to also benefit from whatever we are doing at the country level. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Do we have any more comments, questions to the speakers? What is the time? Okay, I think we should be finishing soon. So Just one more moment for the last questions or comments. Okay, I don't see any raising hands, so I will give back floor to the Agatha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our speakers today.
Okay, thank you very much, Roxana. Thank you, Bella. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Gabby. And thank you for everyone who has stayed with us for about almost 60 minutes or 1 hour that we are learning together about how young people have engaged in GC8, what can we do and how could we improve or start our work there. Um, we have come to the end of this webinar. Once again, the guidelines will be available for public access early next week, hopefully on Monday. So stay tuned on our social media, Youth Lead, YODA, and Y Plus Global. And you can also access the presentation from today's webinar through the same social media channel. Before we go and move on with our day, I would like to ask for everyone who are able and wants to open their camera so we could take a group picture together. Please, if you are able to open your camera and if you want to, let's take a picture. This is a rare event where we have young people from all over the globe being in the same space. So yeah, the least thing we could do is take a picture until we can all meet in the same place, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, so there are two screens on my laptop, so I'm going to take a picture twice. So feel free to hold your pose. 1, 2, 3. Okay. The second one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Once again, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you all have a nice day. I hope we can get the GC8 result that we want to. And I hope you guys have the health, the energy, the resources, the abundance to always, always, always continue your amazing, amazing, amazing work. I hope to see you guys very soon in person. And stay tuned for another online learning session from the Y2Y Consortium. Bye.
Bye, everyone.